One of the many hurdles that seems to get in front of people on their spiritual search, especially for myself over the 10 years that I was seeking, 10 plus years that I was seeking, was this subtle notion that seems to linger in the mind that there's a state to be stabilised. And it's a hard one to kind of let go of, really, because it makes sense, doesn't it, when you look at how we normally approach life, try and organise things and understand and put things in place and create an environment which will then lead to a state of feeling good, okay, there's good days and bad days. And then we hear on the non-dual path that we don't have to worry about a state or anything like that. And a lot of that really boils down to is when we have these glimpses of understanding, these moments of the clouds parting and that relief that, yes, I've got it, suddenly strikes the heart, and there's a completely innocent and natural way of dealing with that, which is to try and hold on to it. I don't want to let this go. But really it just boils down to becoming aware of a couple of little subtleties that I found, and maybe it will help you as well, is that really what we're just saying is that we're creating a comparison, essentially. We're saying, this is how it should feel and look, whereas when don't seem this understanding and I don't feel this relief, this is how it shouldn't look. And it's such a well-worn groove that we have. We don't even normally have to have it articulated to us in the normal thought of a thought appearing and us either saying it out loud or recognising it as a thought of language passing through the mind. It's so well-worn that it's almost a foundation of our behaviour, how we approach nearly everything. But once we see it, those two simple things, it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't look like this, it shouldn't feel like this. Once we realise that that's what we're doing, suddenly it doesn't matter what's appearing, because this is what it is. Our feelings about it are frankly irrelevant. It's nothing to do with our feelings. When we see that this is how it should be, because it's the only way it can be, and it's nothing to do with a person, it's being itself. Our judgment on it is irrelevant. And that's the only thing that really holds us back, is noticing that we're really just saying, it shouldn't look like this, and it shouldn't feel like this. Once you realise that's what you're doing, you become aware of it, and you can let it go. You can just spot yourself doing it. The only reason this doesn't feel like those same moments where I was having those glimpses when a pointer hit home, or that brief moment when a question you hear answered on YouTube suddenly bringing some clarity and then it's lost. The lost is literally it shouldn't feel like this, it shouldn't look like this. But regardless of whether you're feeling clear, or whether the mind is feeling clear or unclear at that time, it is what it is, and you don't have to worry. Just notice that is what's happening at each moment. It should be like this, it shouldn't be like this. It should be like this, it shouldn't be like this. And once you see that that's the seesaw that the mind is doing and keeping you in that perpetual search, it becomes more like, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is how it is. And that being has no problem with it. To itself, there is only itself, being itself. It's just a conditioned judgment on how we believe things should look, or how they should feel, or how we've assumed they're going to look, especially if we've got a certain idea of an exotic experience that's going to come along, or this isn't what someone else said about it. But you have to see it for yourself and realise that being, that essential knowing, presence, awareness that isn't the knowing presence awareness of a person. It's the knowing presence awareness existence of being, the self, whatever you want to call it, consciousness. And that's more than happy whether your outlook is being filtered through, it should be like this, or being filtered through, it shouldn't be like this. Anyway, that's a bit of a ramble, but I'll maybe clarify it again down the line. But yeah, just realize that that well-worn groove is one to become aware of. And then you'll start to see that the presence that you are is not the presence of a person. It was there prior to you being conditioned with a name or taking on the thought I. It's the presence of the being itself, what you eternally and forever are.